big of a guy, but
you're 6 feet, man.
no, I'm only like 5'10", 5'11" on a good day.
Okay.
5'11" on a good day. I'm no JC. But what? So how many days do you have with the team while you're down there? What's the itinerary? What's the schedule looking like?
So we start tomorrow. Everyone arrives tomorrow, and tomorrow is kind of welcome and fun. We're at a resort, so everyone gets to kind of enjoy the beach resort and beach.
I saw you had like a video of you walking down the beach, and I saw a lot of what looked like good fishing boats right there. So I was interested to hear what they were catching. Maybe have you slide down the dock and get some fish updates from people. What the bites like.
Next year we'll be in a more fishing location just for you, Dan. When you come next year, fishing will be on the summit itinerary, and then we have all day. So that starts tomorrow. Everyone arrives and welcome, and then all day Friday. We have the summit. Just lots of pouring into the team. Great thing. JC and I are both teaching some things, some fun team building activities, AI, all kinds of good stuff. And then we conclude on Saturday. Everyone gets to enjoy time here and stuff. So as you know, just like events, just like, I posted pictures of like the name tags and all the swag bags and putting everything together. It's like doing sales boost here. But
basically
the real magic is just in the relationships and the connections, just like with you guys, like I've been with all of you. We've been with all of you guys at conferences. JC and I met at
right. It's where the magic happens. It's where the magic happens, literally.
Yeah, regardless of what we have, it's really just the magic of everyone getting to be together and the relationships and the connections and the power of them being able to work together once they've all been together in person.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see the update. I'm sitting here watching my phone bleep because Jason on our team, which is on your team, but he's on our team, is over there. He's blowing up our chat. We got other people blowing up because they're trying to get a bunch of stuff done now before you guys are all hanging out.
Yeah.
So it's just so cool to watch them get excited to all be able to hang out together. Dig it. Next year. Coming next year.
Yeah, we're already planning next year, so we should have that finalized probably in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Switching up the dates a little bit, but going to make it more inclusive if any of the our clients like you want to come out here and make it an event as well too.
That's badass. Well, sweet. Keep us posted. Oh, we'll be watching all your feeds to see what's going on. What's up?
You'll wake up to everything. Yes.
Yeah. I won't stay up till 4 a.m. to drink wine and I will go to bed.
That's how committed we are to you, Dan.
What's that?
That's how committed we are to you.
Yeah, you guys are in it to win it. I'm jet lagged from coming back from San Diego yesterday. We were down in Mexico with Jeremy Jennings, Joe Denevo, and
Jimmy,
Joe Devino. I got the consonants wrong, and then Jimmy Babuli. And man, like I'm a whiny little bitch. 3 hours of flying, and then like just some weird time, like getting up and 3 a.m. something and getting back here. I think I was the worst dad on the planet yesterday. My patience was like nothing, and my wife was out of town. I was like, I'm just gonna put all you guys to bed. I don't know what to do with you. I just don't even know how to be a dad. Like, what do you guys eat around here?
So it looked like an epic trick, though.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, that was fun. The fishing wasn't as good as it could have been. There were some fish around, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. But the location and just the view from there and all that stuff was out of this world. And we had plenty of fish. We brought back, like, you guys know my beer cooler that I bring to conventions. That was my backpack for bringing fish back. And you couldn't fit another ounce of beer in that, or an ounce of fish in that thing. It was stockpiled full. It was as full as it gets. So
you put like dry ice in there to bring it back?
No, they freeze the fish for you down there. So all the fish we put in frozen, and then we had Joe and Jimmy and I flew back to San Diego and then stayed in San Diego last night and got up early this morning and flew back here. Is where we fished was like a 2-hour flight down into Mexico on Cedros Island, and so the hotel room that we had a freezer in it, like a full-size kitchen freezer. So we loaded that baby up. So and it was already frozen, but it was starting to thaw a little bit. But man, even when I got home from flying back from San Diego, it was all still frozen. So it's good to go. Got a freezer full. now I got the surf to go with my turf
The
once deer hunting starts here. Do some real surf and turf. But hey, I got a topic in mind for today, and a little bit inspired by JC, but it's just something that I like to talk about. I don't have a rhyme or reason for when I like to talk about it, but it's a thing that I see over and over again, and a thing that we struggle with as business owners is finding happiness. And I think it's largely because we pour so much of ourselves into our team and our customers and our business, and we don't always get that from everybody else. We get it from each other a lot, but we don't always get the chance to hang out with each other a lot. And being a CEO of a small business, you're on an island a lot of times. Like, there's not a whole lot of stuff you can share with. You can't share everything with your team, right? You're trying to insulate them from the shit going on in your head. So a lot of times we're trying to insulate our team from stuff. Sometimes we can talk to our spouse about stuff, but sometimes it's just not. That's not the right place to go with it. So a lot of times we depend on each other, but we don't have each other to bounce around that stuff with. And so, JC, I saw you posting some stuff about like, hey, I'm in the dumps a little bit, and I'm really dwelling on this and dwelling on that. And I found it funny, and I'm not gonna pick on you, but I like to use you as an example. Is like, from the outside looking in, I'm like, man, JC's getting engaged. He's traveling over here. He's got all these cool things going on. Like, you have the best thing in the world going on. Like, you guys are always doing cool stuff. You just got engaged. You're out doing sweet stuff. But I find, because like, I just got back from a fishing trip in Mexico. And like I said, I was probably the worst dad ever yesterday. I was in just a terrible mood. Like, and it's funny how it happens to us where we get out of rhythms and get into like weird low spots where it's hard to explain, because from the outside looking in, people could easily be like, why the hell would Dan be in like a bad mood or be depressed? Dude is out fishing in Mexico, right? Super fun trip. And so I like to like step back from that, because even I, from the out, like if I did like an out of body experience and looked at myself, I'd be like, I have zero reason to be in a bad mood. I should just be in a perpetual good mood. Like, life is as good as it gets. But we get in these weird mental funks. So I want to talk a little bit about that, because I think it's real. I know it's real. Happens to me, happens to JC, happens to all of us. So I want to dive into that a little bit. And just to bug Michael, which is probably the reason he jumped on today, is he saw me in the title call out AI as a threat to happiness. I think AI is a major threat to happiness. And so I want to talk about like the things that make us happy and the things that maybe take some of our happiness away, even when we're out doing cool stuff all the time, right? Like, we have cool opportunities. We get to solve some of the coolest problems. But even amongst that, things kind of suck joy, and we find ourselves in a weird dark hole sometimes where it's like, I don't know why I'm not happy. I have no reason not to be happy. That was me yesterday. I have no reason to be in a bad mood, but I'm struggling. And it's hard when you can't rationalize it, right? I think we try to rationalize a lot of stuff, and then it's frustrating when we can't rationalize it. So I want to dig into that a little bit. And then I want to talk about the technology side of it, because I see some risk on the horizon of threats to happiness based on the things I see that create happiness. I'll shut up because that was like a long setup to an episode. Just chime in as you go here. Give me some initial thoughts on things that you guys see that tend to like drive happiness, things that are like putting you in a good mood, not like riding a roller coaster, put you in a good mood, but like feel good in here. You know what I mean? If I'm pointing at my chest for people that are here in the podcast episode later. But what is it that drives like long-term mental health positivity for you? What do you guys find is like the right thing to get you mentally on track?
Do you want to start?
I already know one for Angela and JC that I could say on their behalf, but I figure I'd let them say it.
Okay, I'll let you say that.
I wasn't going there. I mean, yeah, we can go there too.
It's what I focus on. I think if the more you can focus on working in your unique genius, But things that fuel your soul, that light you up, like just like what you said, like if you can really get that to be your life and your business and get the rest of the shit that you hate doing off of your plate, that's how burnout happens. You know, when we spend all our time doing that and then we're just like, at the end of the day, it sucks everything out of us because we didn't get to do enough of what we really like to do. And a lot of things in our business we don't like to do. Like I love talking to business owners, hearing their stories, helping them learn to love their life and their business again. And if I don't get to do, like you talk about that, you love doing demo calls. I love doing discovery calls. Like how can you spend the most of your time doing things that light you up and make sure that you have, a system for that so that you're doing a lot of that and getting the stuff that you hate off your plate.
I wonder, I totally agree with you, but, or maybe it's an and. I don't know if it's a but or an and. We'll go with and because and feels more positive, and I want to talk about being happy. And sometimes I find it's okay to do things that aren't the highest value, but are the best for your soul.
Yeah.
Like, yep. I could hire somebody to do demo calls, and you could argue as I scale the business that, like, if the goal is to make as much money as possible, which it is not, I don't think that's a route to happiness. I think a lot of us chase it thinking that's the way to go, and we drive ourselves to misery because we delegate stuff because it doesn't make us the most amount of money, but we get rid of stuff that we actually like to do and that feeds our soul. Like, I like building spreadsheets and doing some bookkeeping every once in a while. I think a lot of people that get off the truck would enjoy a day or two on the truck. I'm not saying like every single day, but there's something about doing work with your hands and seeing an end result that just feeds your soul. Like I think about deer hunting and the amount of work I even put into hobbies. I've spent 2 full weekends, like extra long weekends, basically being a farmer, like out planting food plots. And it's just work and sweat and dirt and busting boots. And damn, that feels good. Like just sweating and doing physical work. And yeah, is it a great use of time monetarily? Hell no. It's a stupid ass use of time. But there's something to be said about doing the things that like feed your soul. And this is going to get into the technology side of it, but a lot of times it's physical. It's exercise. And you and JC and Angela, that was the thing I was going to say about you guys, like the routine of getting up and working out.
I knew that.
And I do mine in the middle of the day, but even after 5 days of this trip, like I'm missing something. Granted, I'm also missing my spouse because Marty and I, like all summer, have been doing just like high five. Okay, your turn. Like I got home yesterday and she's like, once you get here, I got to go because we got this sales training thing. And she's out doing sweet shit. She sent me a picture of her like shooting a shotgun. They're out like shooting clay pigeons, but we're not in a routine. We keep doing this thing. And in a funny way, like I don't love a routine. I like some chaos, but I need enough of a routine that I have like something to lean back on. I can only be out of my routine for like maybe a week, but if it gets much more than that, or if it's like too many in a row and I don't have time to settle back in, I can't put a thing on it. I can't say, oh, it's this, but even going to Mexico, super awesome trip, had a great time. But I wasn't like in here. I wasn't happy because I'm like out of my routine now, hanging out with Joe, hanging out with Jimmy, hanging out with Jeremy. I decided to be Jan. Like we needed me to have a J name because they all had J names, but Jan doesn't sound good. And James is my middle name, but that was too easy. So we went with Jan, soft J. Like super good time, right? Would love to do that trip again. But in here, I wasn't happy because in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I'm missing my wife. We're just doing a lot of this. We're like, we're hardly on the same page. And so like the happiness isn't there. The immediate type 1 fun is there. The riding a roller coaster type of fun. But in the back of our minds, like we know we're missing out on something. We're missing out on like a productivity thing or a relationship thing that's like super core. I'm super glad I went. Don't get me wrong. But I look at some of those things and I'm like, what's that balance between routine and doing fun stuff? And JC, to pick on you, I think when I was watching you kind of go through that, like you guys have been going and you can go and it's all fun stuff that you've been doing. But is there like such a thing as too much fun? It makes me wonder, like, can we have too much fun and not enough productivity or something? Like, productivity is just the word I'm throwing at it. I'll let you guys define it. Where we're doing, and I would say, like, you guys are in a cool mode, a travel mode, a sweet spot mode, but it then like is something in the routine missing, and it like throws you off too much. Anyway, I'll let you go on that. That was a lot of me yapping again.
Yeah, no, I mean, for us, we moved the very end of June, early July, and since we've moved, I don't think we've been home consistently for more than a week, if that, and it's just been go, go, go. So not only have we not even be able to enjoy our new home together for a consistent period to just focus on that next chapter in our lives, but yeah, the go, go, go has been nonstop. And now we're here. It took us 4 days to get to Thailand, pretty much, by the time we left early to try and avoid the tropical storm. So that was exhausting and taxing. Then we spent 3 days in Thailand. Now we're here doing an event like Sales Boost. So that's a lot of work. Then we literally fly home Sunday, but don't get home till Monday at midnight.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday to pack, unpack, repack, and then fly out Wednesday to go to the Huge. So we got 24, 36 hours home before we're out again to the Huge to do 4 or 5 days of exhausting, engaging activities. Luckily, after that, we're done. But I think, like, yeah, we're definitely – I'm at least at a point of, like, we planned this horribly. But everything we've done was, like, strategic for the planning, and the only time of the year we could have really done it, so it had to get done.
Yep.
It's been enjoyable in the moment, but at night afterwards, we're like, holy cow, what were we thinking? Like,
yeah, like how much did we bite off here?
Yeah, and it was a lot. I mean, this is 35,000 miles we'll travel in 4 weeks of flying and like 15 flights.
Everybody at the airports is going to start recognizing you guys.
I've had that happen at the Delta Lounge in Atlanta last year, because I always wore my Christmas jacket, and they would remember me every single time I came back there. That's when you know you travel too much.
Yep, they're on to you. Once they're on to you. Let's do this. We got to – did we lose Jai? I think we lost Jai. Let's take a commercial break, but if Jai dropped, then maybe we just keep talking until he gets back on here.
I can say something about it if you want me to.
Yeah. I
have no idea the words are going to come out of my mouth. They might be terrible. But was the question like, what do entrepreneurs do to maintain happiness or stay motivated or recharge? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Where do you find your recharge, where you not that you're having fun, right? Because a lot of things that fuel us aren't fun in the moment, right? Like the accomplishments that fuel us aren't always fun, but when do you feel good in here?
So I joined a mastermind group last year, and when I joined this group, it's a bunch of like 7-8 figure businesses. And I honestly joined thinking like, it's going to be all business. It's like, your business, your family, and then your personal health. And it's like literally the opposite. It's purely about yourself and your mindset. So I think I'll go 3 places. One, I've been coaching small businesses for 14 years, which is crazy because I look like a vampire, but 14 years, I really have, I promise. And it always amazes me watching entrepreneurs deal with or watching how they process stress relative to people who don't own a business. And it gets even amplified even more as somebody scaled a business, because the person that's like scaled a business, they've dealt with so many different phases of growth, like personal development growth, team building, financial challenges, culture challenges. Like they just process stress so much differently than like the average person. And so they are able to take on a lot more of on their plate. And anybody that has successful entrepreneurs in their family, or you yourselves, you just know, like you observe other people and the challenges they go through in your day-to-day life. And you're like, this isn't a big deal. Like we just do this and this, and it's so easy because we've been there and done that. So that's like the first thing, is just watching how we process stress as we advance in our entrepreneurial career. Second is mindset. I think that, and what I've learned is happiness starts from within. Like you're never going to be able to love somebody else more than you love yourself. You have to start from within your own spirit, soul, whatever you want to look at it as. And so you have to be mentally strong, physically strong, and like be accepting of who you are in order for you to accept other people. So that's the second one. Third would be control and influence. I've used this like Eisenhower matrix, which is a 2x2 matrix. It's just Eisenhower matrix, what it's called. And if you put control and influence in this 2x2 matrix, you can or you can't control it. And then you influence is a choice. You choose to or choose not to influence something. And most things that get us stressed out in our daily life, it's not so much something that we can control. Like you literally can't control what's happening to you right now. So we have to pivot or move or change, but it's the moment. Influence is a choice. When something happens to you and you have the opportunity to decide to or not to influence something, that is the choice that you are going to make. So that control and influence matrix really helps me a lot. And the final thing I'll say is Grandmaster Oogway from Kung Fu Panda, which I think is like a proverb of something, but if you think about the past and you dwell on the past, you get depressed. Think about this in any instant in your life because it's so true. If you focus on the past, you get depressed. If you focus on the future, you get anxious. But right now is a gift. Everything we've done up to our life is like leading us to this moment where Angela and JC engage in the Philippines. Congratulations, by the way. It's this moment is a gift. Let's maximize and make the most of it to create the next moment that happens for us. So those are like the 3 things that I've always thought about when it comes to like creating happiness and success in my own life.
Dude, I hope somebody was writing all that shit down. I hope somebody wrote all that down. That's a lot of nuts.
Oh, Jai's back.
Jai's back. We got to, just so we can fit it in. Hell of a, Michael. Damn, that was good. Jai, hit us with a little commercial break music. We're going to take a break and hit up the sponsors for Turfs Up Radio here. We'll be back, as always, with a little more home service happy hour right here on Turfs Up. Don't go nowhere. We still got to hear from Shawn. We got to hear what fuels Shawn. And then I want to start debating the merits of technology and that sort of thing, which is fun with Michael because he likes technology and I don't. So it's all right. We'll be back. We'll be back a little bit more on home service happy hour. Don't go nowhere.
Landscapers, had enough of disjointed and outdated software? Upgrade to Aspire and say goodbye to estimating, scheduling, and routing frustrations. With Aspire, it's smooth sailing. Work orders? Handled. Mobile access? Done. Invoicing, payments, and real-time reporting? It's covered. Aspire's got your back. Why settle? You deserve software that works just as hard as you do. Learn more at youraspire.com. That's youraspire.com.
You're listening to Turfs Up Radio, the only radio station of its kind dedicated to the green industry. Now you can even ask Alexa to tune you in when you're home.
True Fuel is a high-octane fuel precision-engineered for your 2- and 4-cycle equipment. They use the most advanced synthetic lubricants and stabilizers in an ethanol-free fuel, improving performance, protecting your equipment, and saving you time. That means easier startups, smoother idling, and quicker trigger response, plus extended life for all of your equipment. True Fuel is ready to use and easy to store, helping your operations be more efficient and reducing maintenance costs. We at Turfs Up use True Fuel because we know it works and we know it's the best option. Check out TrueFuel50.com to learn more. That's TrueFuel50.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, here's to all the women in the green industry. Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
All right, here we go. We're back with a little more home service happy hour right here on Turfs Up Radio. I'm Dan Platta. I introduced you guys. I didn't introduce me. Everybody's stuck with me. You guys choose to be here. We got Michael Gregory, Click Call Sell in the house. Shawn Day, Higher Lead Channel. And we got Angela and JC live from the Philippines at 4 a.m. Unique Genius VAs. You guys are the shit. Congratulations, by the way, because we didn't do a show last week because everybody was like on the move, moving and grooving, and we skipped a week, and so I just didn't even get to like personally tell you guys congrats.
Thank you.
How cool is that? How cool is that? I'm not surprised. Usually when I say it, I'm like, I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. In this case, I'm like, I'm not surprised. I'm just really happy. It's different. Same thing, just different.
I'm happy. She's happy.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to go. I want to hear from Shawn on kind of what brings him that internal joy, that internal like meaningful happiness. And now I want to kick it around a little bit more in terms of just like the observations of where you find it, where you don't, and I think threats and just overall themes to our world that I see that are threats to happiness for everybody, not just me, not just you, but everybody. What you think, Shawn?
Well, I don't know, man. You guys coined about everything you can think of. I think happiness is absolutely a choice. I've seen it in my lifetime too many times, really close to me, with people with cancer and going from depression to like living life like your last day. Nothing around them changed. Cancer didn't go away. The world didn't change. They just changed the way they looked at it. Period. That's really, perception is everything to me. And I talk about it a lot. I can make my reality whatever the hell I want it to be. I really can if you focus on perception. As far as like I posted not too long ago, does anybody else out there like I don't know if it's every 3 months or every 6 months, but it's like all of a sudden for no reason at all, I'm like, man, this fucking life sucks right now. But I can't pinpoint why. I can't tell you that I'm exhausted, but I didn't really do anything to be exhausted. Things are really good. And I just can't figure out why I feel shitty. And there was a lot of interesting things that people posted into there. But
oh yeah, you had a fart stuck.
I was going to say that when you brought it up.
Sure.
Yeah,
like,
that was the one thing you did, and I said
my brother's a doctor, so
yeah,
I'm highly qualified.
No problem with that, man. Believe me, there was no problem with that. Okay. So I think happiness is certainly a choice. Michael, in a nutshell, basically just recited the Serenity Prayer. In part, which I say every day, every morning. And it is true. I mean, and the way that I say exactly what Michael laid out is, to me, the past is all about regret. Why couldn't I have done this better? Why did that happen? Could I have done something differently? And you kind of beat yourself up a little bit about it. And the future is all about worry. Right. And anxiety, like Michael said, and both of those are fantasy. There is no past that I can touch or I can't go to it. There's no future I can get. It's fantasy island. It's not real. The only thing that's real is right now and what we are doing right now. That's the only reality there truly is. Everything else is fantasy island. So how can you control anything in fantasy island if it's not real? That's the way I look at it. I can only look at what I'm doing right now. And I'll tell you, when you live in the now or you live in the present, some people say, when I really, really, really practiced on that, I mean, daily and every single day, it's amazing what you actually hear your wife saying and you actually listen. You're not thinking about work when she's talking to you. You actually can communicate, do things and say, yeah, I remember you telling me that. I already did that, instead of you never told me that. My kids are.
This sounds like some shit you're making up. I don't believe that this is possible.
I mean,
I've never had this conversation before.
Right. Practice it, man. It'll change your life. Customers, anybody that my children and I have much better relationship, man. A much better relationship than I did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. It's life changing when you can live in the now, because that's really where happiness is. That's the only place it is. You can wish and that's okay stuff. But I know like goals and expectations, I don't know. You listen to professional athletes. What do they say all the time? And coaches, it's what you do during practice that matters, and which is life, right? That's what life is. And then, hey man, hopefully we win a Super Bowl. I'm doing everything I can to have business successful, doing everything that I can right now. And if I get those goals, great. I mean, that's great. If I don't, a little upset. It sure as hell's not going to ruin my day, though. We just plug along, we go on, and we make it happen. And it's really, truly the magic of living in the now and being present. That's one thing. So Michael touched on that. I say it a little bit differently, but it's the same thing. And then the other thing, two things is, one, outside. When I go outside, for whatever reason, I think it's called fresh air, I just breathe better. I breathe when I breathe, when I breathe better, I'm better. My whole body's better. My mind's better. I go outside every single morning. I have a cup of coffee. I go outside, I have coffee, and I'm walking my dog, and I'm outside. I don't care what the weather is. And I'm out there I'm walking, I'm moving. I'm doing those things. I'm not a gym guy like you guys, but that's what I do. I get outside. Whatever it is. I'm in the summer, I'm always outside, no matter what. But then the other thing was, what was I going to say now? Oh, I've got a trophy on my shelf, and it says the winner of self-pity. I do self-pity the better than anybody out there, man. Woe is me. Woe is me. So what I need to do, and I know this, and it works not sometimes, this works for me every single time. The more I think about Shawn Day and nobody else is around me, I get in trouble. So I need to write a note, an email, call somebody, get outside and get into somebody else's space and ask them, how you doing? If I know somebody's having some trouble, I heard there's a death in the family, something like that, I'll make a phone call. I'll do those things because it takes me away from me. And that's, I hear this a lot. You've got to work on yourself. Self. I understand that you can't help anybody else if you're not helping yourself first. I get that. I do it in a roundabout way, which is helping others. Is that selfishly making me feel better a little bit about myself? I think it works great that way. I think it works great for me that way.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing makes you feel better than helping somebody else. Like,
it's everything,
selfishly, and it's fine. Like, I'm not saying selfish is a bad thing. Like, that's great. Then everybody's winning, right? The more you can help other people, the better you feel about it. And I put it on again, I'm going to use the word productivity. It just tends to be whether we're productive in helping other people, and that might be in our business, that might be through our church, that might be whatever we're doing. But if we're engaged in something that's productive, which could be better for like doing exercise stuff, right? We're being productive in managing our health. We're being a productive parent. And Angela, this is where I struggle with, like, do I want a home manager? Because I like that work of doing the dishes, doing the laundry. Like, there's that productivity feeds me. I need to get stuff done. The minute I'm not happy and I can only sense it after the fact. So I agree with the being present thing, but I think we do need to look forward and back, because we got to do for me, I need to be productive on stuff that's going to help set up my future and be working on the right stuff for future Dan's sake. But I also need to learn from the past. So I can't like totally ignore it, right? But everything I can do about it is right now. So I do, and Michael talked about the, I'll say the two words wrong, but like the control and the influence. I'm really good at ignoring shit that's out of my control. I just roll with it. Like, it can be the worst thing in the world. I'm just kind of like, what am I going to do about it? And sometimes there's things you can do about it, right? But like, the circumstances are what they are. If it's a weather-related circumstance, if it's a whatever, like you can let it ruin your day for a minute. But if there's nothing you can do about it, like, if it's downpouring out, the thing you can do about it is get better rain gear. Just whatever it is.
That's the influence. That's what I'm talking about. It's a powerful part of it. It's a choice.
Yeah, and so like, don't complain about the weather. Get things for the weather. Or figure out the activity that's good in that weather. And Shawn, you always like to say, like, if it's pouring out and it's got you down, the weather's bad, and then you see some little kids playing in a puddle, your perception of that rainstorm and little kids jumping around splashing in a puddle is going to change your level of happiness big time. So to me, what I always just tend to find is when I look back, and if I'm in a funk, it tends to be a lack of productivity, which is a spiral, because if you get really depressed, it's hard to be productive. And I tend to see that. And I've had friends go through that, where they get in a real bad funk and then they can't get out of it because they're too in a funk to like go produce something. And it's the production that creates the happiness, even though it's hard and it sucks a lot of times. Those tend to be the things, like the things that take the hardest amount of work drive the most pride. Right? The things that you do that are the hardest and that you overcome and solve really challenging problems or build something incredible, that that takes all the blood, sweat, and tears in the world. When you build something incredible, the pride is where the happiness is.
It's a lot like when shitty things happen and you kind of have to stare at a wall a little bit. And then, like you said, Dan, if you stare at that wall long enough, you're cornered. You're getting a corner and you can't get out of that corner. And we've talked about this a lot of times on this show and others. It's just move. Just do an email. Hey man, what can I do to help you? Hey, can I get on the stage and talk? Can I do this? Can I do that? Move. And all of a sudden, what you're trying to control won't happen maybe, but all of a sudden, somebody else saw your post and somebody says, wait a minute, dude, I got something I can really need your help with this. You never saw that comment, but that would have never happened if you were still staring at the wall. You just get moving and do things and see people, and magic starts to happen. People make things happen. And this might be a good segue into your technology. I don't know, but it's people that make it happen.
It is. Let's take one more commercial break. We'll get back. I want to hit the technology angle of it. I want to talk about like kids these days. I mean, like I swear to God, like peanut allergies weren't, I'm not even 40 years old yet. Peanut allergies didn't exist, and depression didn't exist when I was a kid. I don't like, where's it all coming from? It's got to be linked to something. They're probably not linked together. But we'll dig into it. I got some ideas, and then we'll talk about the technology angle of it. Come on back. See you in a bit.
Get ready to abandon gas with Crest Commercial. With insane power and extreme longevity, the era of batteries trailing behind gas engines is over. With the Crest revolutionary 8-minute cyber system, Crest Commercial landscape tools provide the same power and performance as their gas-powered counterparts, as much as a 2-stroke engine. Plus, the Crest 60-volt CyberPack batteries charge in 8 minutes or less. Professional landscapers can finally make the switch to battery without sacrificing performance, power, or runtime. Crest, it's the only choice to replace gas. For more information or to find a dealer near you, visit Crest.com.
Creating art from darkness. For over 20 years, Cast Lighting has designed and manufactured the world's most durable, energy-efficient, and technically advanced landscape lighting products available at astonishingly affordable prices. Cast offers an all-encompassing line of products with everything you need to get the job done. Cast Landscape, their most durable product, is best-in-class, low-voltage landscape lighting made of solid bronze with integrated and drop-in LED technology. These fixtures are built to endure the most demanding environments. Source Lighting, a new division by Cast, is your source for professional grand landscape lighting made of durable brass, offering both integrated and drop-in LED technology, and backed by Cast, the world's most durable outdoor lighting. Cast Lighting gives you innovative, state-of-the-art, old-world craftsmanship with tomorrow's technology. Visit their website at cast-lighting.com today. That's cast-lighting.com.
Having issues with your maintenance schedule? Want better routing and ability to track your vehicles when they leave the shop? Do you want to reduce your liability exposure with your vehicles that are moving billboards on the road? GPS Fleet Consulting uses cloud-based dashcam monitoring and can easily track your vehicle maintenance using real odometer readings. GPS Fleet Consulting can also assist you with live phone support and email support with guaranteed same-day responses. Yes, same-day responses. Stop wondering where your trucks are and start managing your fleet with GPS Fleet Management Systems. For more information, visit gpsfleetconsulting.com. That's gpsfleetconsulting.com.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world, no one rocks like Turf's Up Radio. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
What's up, business nerds? Welcome back to Home Service Happy Hour. Angela's dancing. That means the music's working. We got Michael Gregory in the house. Shawn went off stage. Shawn's taking a pee break. We got Angela and JC live from the Philippines, and yours truly, Dan Platta, best damn bookkeeping. What's up? We got to finish our happiness discussion, but I want to start with the kids. It's all about the kids. Everything we do is all about the kids. and then lead that into technology and just some like high level risks that I see. Because again, like I said before the break, when I was growing up, peanut allergies weren't a thing and depression wasn't really a thing. I'm sure it was, right? I'm sure it was, but it wasn't the way that it is now. I think it's great that we talk about mental health. Shawn, are you just gonna stay back there? Are you gonna stay behind stage? He's see-through. He's got that see-through look going on. But I want to talk a little bit about just some things that I see and observations that I have. And I'm biased because, again, like productivity to me and the pride, even the way I close out the show. Every time I close out the show, I say, work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. That's real intentional. You don't get pride from working smarter. You get a little bit, but it's like type 1 fun. You get pride from working harder and grinding and overcoming things, and being smart is part of that. But hard work and sweat and like physical labor, that like seeing that end result is super important. I texted Marty when the last couple weekends when I was out doing food plot stuff. Like, it's super hard work, and it is not cost effective. It is not time efficient. It's a good time hanging out with my dad and sucking down a whole bunch of shitty light beers afterwards. We do a really good job of that, and then get up and do it all over again. But when if you're a farmer, right, like you could probably go do something that makes you more money in a lot of cases, but you do it because, man, there's a lot of pride in planting that field and taking care of it and getting that produce from whatever you're growing. And so I always look at happiness as a total derivative of pride. When you've got pride and you're doing things that are giving you that feeling of like, hell yeah, I overcame that, or I did that. And the bigger the thing is that you overcome, the more of it you have and the more unstoppable you are. When you look at people that have really come through some shit, like, they're pretty freaking hard to rattle because they don't give a F, right? Like some of this in my CEO roundtable groups, like some of the stuff those people have overcome, I'm just like, oh shit. Like, no wonder why you run such a badass business. Little problems, you're like, I don't care about like those little things, right? The things that stump a lot of us. They're just like, oh, like that problem's gonna slow me down. Like you should hear some shit that I had to overcome, right? It just makes you relentless, and like the pride and the happiness of overcoming those things. And so talking about youngsters again, and I've talked about this on the show before. As I've scaled multiple businesses, that mental health of our employees became like a real thing. And I was like, man, these guys like can't cope with some of the situations of the day to day. And it always points back to a lack of problem solving, a lack of pride. Everything's been on a screen. They've never had to like physically solve these problems and generate this pride, and they just don't know how to do it. And it creates in my opinion, in my observation, it creates just like a lack of joy and a hard time knowing how to problem solve and knowing how to generate pride. And it always seems to be a technology related thing. And it's such a double-edged sword, right? Because you're not going to slow technology down. You're not going to stop it. You're not going to slow the advancements down. You can alter how you use it. And I'm very conscious of that because I use technology as a tool all the time, right? But I try to use it in ways that generates happiness. And I avoid AI for that reason. Like, it just no result of what I can do with AI makes me feel good. All it does is make me feel like I don't like the way this is going. Like, we're all going to be fucking socialist slaves to a robot someday at this rate. And so I don't enjoy that. And that's my own perception, to Shawn's point earlier. But it sure as hell doesn't make me happy using it. I was out putting a food plot in with a rototiller, and that was way easier than using a rake. I used a rake the day before. I still got like the remnants of a badass blister on my thumb there. And so I'm not saying don't use technology. Like the food plot I put in with this little rototiller I carried in the back of the woods, it's a damn good food plot. And I already got like $5 big bucks on it. Like $5 fucking big bucks, you guys. Super big bucks. So like tons of pride. It's actually, I call it the Marty plot. Like I literally put this food plot in so that Marty can shoot her first deer with the bow. there's a ton of pride. Like I was in there for 2 hours just sweating. I was unplugging the I was using my mom's little rototiller. It's like this tiny little battery powered one, carried it back into the middle of the woods. I'm sweating. I'm dripping. I'm like, I plugged it up like twice. The thing wouldn't even spin anymore. I had so many tall weeds wrapped up in that son of a bee. But I got it done. It's clean. This thing is like probably 20 yards by 6, 7, 8 yards wide, just in the middle of the woods. It's just a beautiful looking food plot. But when I'm done and now it's starting to come up and there's bucks hitting, I got a trail camera there, like tons of pride in the effort. That was like a 4-hour project. And it's like, fuck yeah. Like I did that, right? There's no AI. There was some technology involved. And I was thinking about this a lot because I'm not averse to technology. I appreciate technology. I don't know that shit would have happened with a rake is all I'm saying. Like that rototiller came in real handy. But I think my aversion comes when the technology starts to think, because the thinking and the utilizing of the tools allows us to be more productive with it. But it all comes back to being productive. And the minute something starts doing our thinking for us, it kind of worries me about where the pride might be left and where the productivity might be left. And I get that like the productivity can be in the technology thing, but I just, again, go back to the kids and just, I don't know that I'd want to be growing up nowadays. Like, where's the ride your bike and play in the woods and build some cool shit in the woods for hours? I don't see kids doing that. I see every kid trying to play on their tablet or their phone all the time. And they like live in a false reality that doesn't bring happiness with it. My kids, when I get them off of a screen, which I work my ass off to do, they have never once been happy or thankful. Not once. I bet hundreds of times I have removed screens from my kids, and they are always, and my kids are great, except for when they're not. They're the biggest pieces of shit when you take their, I'm not lying. They're awful. When like, and they will whine and complain. When they don't have screens, they play together just fine. When they have screens, they are awful. Like they turn into mindless zombies that aren't thinking, right? They're not thinking. They're not, even if they're like playing games on it, they're all weird when you take that technology away. And so I just see that over and over again. I see their behaviors. I see the behaviors from their friends. I watch it in my young employees, and I'm a little worried about it. Like they're missing the whole point, the happiness. Like where'd the happiness go? Why are y'all in such a bad mood after you just got to use the coolest thing? Like this is pretty fucking cool. These toys are pretty cool, but why use it if the end result is you're miserable?
I think one of the biggest things I noticed when my kids were smaller, more so than now, was just the instant ability to get whatever you want with a push of a button or two. Like I would tell them literally, like we couldn't wait to see The Wizard of Oz when I was a kid, and it was on once a year, and that was it. I couldn't go to YouTube and watch it, man. I mean, it was like, in like 3 weeks, maybe you might see a commercial and you just go ape shit, man. It'd be like, and then it was like a countdown, and it was like, it was on your mind, but you couldn't have it. You couldn't push a button and get it, man. You had to wait. And there's something about waiting and then not on your time when it happens, not on your time. When it happens, it's really, really a cool experience, and they are absolutely deprived of that. They're absolutely deprived of that. Now, there's good things about being able to get access to healthcare and some important things in life, but The Wizard of Oz and getting shit like that isn't super important to get right away, and they're just, it's stolen from them. It really, truly is, and I feel for them. And like I've said this in business, it's not the generation's fault. We need better leadership, and we're still parents. It's still your choice to give them screens. It's still your choice to do those things. And my wife and I would have arguments about stuff like that. I was real resistant to. Now this is maybe a little bit earlier, but why are we getting him this Xbox thing? You realize in 2 weeks we're going to be yelling at him to get off of what we're giving him today, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. We both know that, right, dear? Yeah, but. And then I give in, she give in, and it would happen. So whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is it the kids and the generations, or did we all just give up a little bit? And it's not so bad now when you give them a little CD, DVD player, and now we can talk, and now we can watch our show either, right? There's a selfish thing that sort of happens on having ourselves doing those things. And we've got sort of a goofy thing going on, and I think that's a bad thing, but I think there's also a lot of really, really good things that are happening. So I don't want to like depress people out there, but I think that's what I see.
Yeah. Well, that's the nature of it, right? It's such a double-edged sword. It's like, I want to take it away from them, but I want to have access to it.
Right. And I want them to have access to it when I don't want to deal with them. Right.
Yeah. Right. And I want them to grow up knowing how to use it, because the world that they're going to live in, that like knowing how to use all that shit is going to have to be like us knowing how to ride a bike. You're just going to have to know it, or you're going to get left in the dust.
Well, what do you say? How long have we been on a computer today? Every single day. And we're going to tell them the computer's bad for your eyes. You shouldn't be on the computer that long. What do you do for a living, dude? We all do this for a living. That's what we do, right?
Yep. But I'm being productive.
The AI thing, I'm going to defer to Mr. Gregory.
Yeah.
Or Angela or whoever. That one, I like it, but I'm nervous about it.
I like how you guys defer to me. I in no way feel like I spend a lot of time in it, but there are people I know that live like 40 hours a week in this thing. I would like to say something. I have a 4-year-old, and you guys are scaring the crap out of me. So nonsense, knock it off. My wife and I are very intentional about limiting our own screen time when we're around Thomas, and also limiting his screen time. And there are days that go by and he doesn't even look at a screen. We only have one TV in our house. We have an art TV. It just looks art all the time. We only have one TV in our house. And it's not really on that often. So we are just very intentional about that. So all your stories and stuff, like I think if you just disconnected for long enough, it wouldn't become a thing. Like my son's 4, loves Legos, went to Yosemite, hiked 8.5 miles in Yosemite a couple weeks ago. Like they're young. They don't know these things. They're 4, he's 5. Like just like, it's not a thing. So don't make it a thing and it won't become a thing. He has no allergies. He's amazing.
I don't know, man. The minute they get to school and all their friends have cell phones.
He just started 3 days ago. We'll see. Well, yeah, no cell phones. He just started 3 days ago.
It's a slippery slope.
Later on, I don't know.
I'm very bad with my phone. Like, I'll be the first to admit this. And my kids yell at me all the time. Like, Dad, you're on the phone all the time. And that was a lot before Angela, because I was trying to find that happiness. I found my happiness now. So I really try to be more intentional and conscious about it. But I do see that when I'm with my kids and they're not on their phone and I'm on the phone, the second I pick up my phone is the second they pick up their phone.
Yeah.
So it's every single time in the last, I've been very intentional about noticing this in the last couple of weeks. Like every single time, it doesn't matter if it's the 2 of us, the 4 of us, or just me and one of them. The second I pick up my phone, they're straight for their phone because like Dad's doing it, I got to do it. So I think like Michael's saying, like, if we're allowing them to do it, they're going to do it. But if we're controlling it and being intentional about it and giving them other things to be doing, then they're not going to even think about it or want to do it. So I've like I said, I've been bad about it for years. I've even had to limit like the apps on my kid's phone by hours to try and be better about it. But lately I've been very conscious about it and knowing that if they're around, I don't want my phone around.
I love that. Yeah.
They want their phone around.
I don't blame them because I'm the same way. I was even with Joe and Jimmy and Jeremy this weekend. I was like, the 3 of them were on their phones and I'm sitting there not on my phone. I'm just like, I must get my phone. Like I even was like, no. Like I put my hands in my arms and I was like, no, we're in Mexico.
Your hands like shaking.
Yeah, it was like, what would I possibly want to look at my phone right now for? Like, here we are. We're here. I'm not doing it. But it was so funny. Like, as if I was in a conversation with one of them, it wouldn't have been a problem. But the minute I was idle and they were on their phones, I was like, I don't know what to do. I should grab my phone. And I just had this like weird, like, no, don't do it. Be strong. Be strong, Dan. I think I probably grabbed my phone though.
It's that instant satisfaction though that we like seek to find on social media, or whether you're browsing, searching, looking for your movie trailers, whatever it is. Like, you want it. It's addicting. That's why everybody has
like that.
Looking at big buck pictures. I was just looking at big buck pictures from that sweet food plot I put in. That was me. I was just
one more thing I got from Josh Latimer that's been like overly helpful is like hard things. Like I manufacture hard things for my kid. I'm not over here acting like I'm the best dad in the world, but I have an awesome kid. making him do hard things. And we have this, like, I'll say, he'll say hard things. And if I push him too hard, which has happened more than I want to admit, like, I'll say, it's like too hard. Like, this is too hard. Like, it's kind of cool back and forth that we've created. So make your kids do hard things, like manufacture hard things. A lot of people listening to the show are entrepreneurs, have 7-figure businesses. We don't have hard lives. And our kids, as we've come like late stage capitalism, we have money. We have the ability to provide a life that most of us didn't have. And it's easy to kind of let your kid just coast. And I mean, I have people in my family or circles that you just see their kids in their teenagers or whatever. It's like, oh, why have they never had to experience any adversity in life? Like literally manufacture adversity for my kid. And I will continue to do so because I believe that's the best way to raise them.
Tell you a quick story with that, Michael, that came up real quick. We had cut down a tree that was dead. My wife wanted a tree planted, and I'm like, where? She's like, pretty much right next to it. And I'm just thinking, oh Christ, these roots are you sure, dear? Yes. Okay. So that's all. I'm just beating roots all day long. So I brought my son, he was like 4 years old. And I'm like, dude, go get your tools here. And he had the plastic things. So he brings a wiffle ball bat. And he's like beating the hell out of these roots with a wiffle ball bat. And it's like 90 degrees. And we're sweating to death, right? And I'm like, perfect, man, perfect. I go, hey, let's go get some water for us, buddy. We worked real hard. So I start beating this one root with just till it was going to break. And I'm like, he comes on. I'm like, dude, I'm dying. I need your help. Just hit this root a couple times with his wiffle ball bat. He hit it like 3 times and it broke. And he's like, woo, we're just going crazy, man. And that's exactly something, Michael, like you're talking about, just those. And him and I talk about that like literally a few times a year. And he's, going on 16 years old. That was when he was 4 years old. Just that little thing. And it was awesome.
The pride of doing hard stuff. You got to do hard stuff.
You're a great dad, Shawn. One thing I appreciate about all the men in this, I don't know your fatherhood as much, but I have always had mad respect for JC as a dad and you as well, Dan. So I would listen to any parenting advice you gave because JC very transparently has been one of my figures of who I strive for to be a father. So I'm really happy.
That's a compliment. Like you too, buddy. I appreciate you.
Well, we're over time. Go figure. What are the chances of that? Thank you guys for hanging out and talking happiness. I hope everybody got joy from talking happiness, listening to this happiness episode.
I'm happy. It's 5:00 in the morning.
Yeah. You are drinking some red wine next to your fiance. You got nothing. Oh, now you're back to beer. Now you're back to beer. No longer your girlfriend. Now we can't. And
the best part is I get to see all you guys next week.
Right? Well, you're in my phone now as Angela and Casey's ex-girlfriend. So
that has to stay there.
That's good. Yeah, your ex-girlfriend. That's
ex-girlfriend.
That's freaking amazing.
I'm gonna go with ex-girlfriend from now on.
Thank you guys for checking in. I didn't make my rounds here, but Zig, Seth, Barry, thank you boys for checking in and hanging out today. I hope it was a good one. As always, and especially after today's combo, work smarter and harder. Go earn some pride. I think I got Jonathan Cromwell on tonight to talk about high school football, and he runs a big maid service business, but mostly he obsesses about high school football. He's got a sweet app for teams to use to do all their stuff. So we're going to drink some beers and talk about it. It's going to be a blast. I'll see you in the next one.
Guy, we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Go to bed, you guys. Actually finish your drinks and then go straight to bed. All right. See you guys.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.